Hello friends, I'm Angie.
I'm Michelle.
And we are Blue Heavens. In today's video, we're going to discuss the Bible story in Luke 15 of the Prodigal Son.
And we're going to start off with Angie's channeled message she got as soon as her awakening was over with. As remember from our video, our spiritual awakening, she discusses her awakening, but she discovered some new information.
Yeah, so I went looking through journals because we both have written all kinds of stuff down since all this began.
Yes.
And at the time that I wrote this, I couldn't write.
Right. I
had Lyme disease so bad my hands were all cramped up. So it was kind of even more miraculous that this came out of me because I wrote it quickly too.
Right.
Okay, so this is the journal entry, the day of my awakening, the evening I went back home after I went crazy. And it says, "We are stars. We are a fifth element here to clear the old world and prepare us for the new age of Aquarius. 5D, no longer 3D. We are not the same people anymore. We learned, shed our skin of it, shit it out, pissed it out, puked it out, and screamed it out.
Yes.
Some people had the time of their life in realizing it's just time to go home.
Yes.
We're all stars. Some here to be great from the very beginning, and they just burn out. Their star inside dies. Then you wake up on the other side with all your loved ones waiting for you. You were done. It's time for a new love, new art, new systems, a new, better world for us all. The lives we waited for all along. With the help of our loved ones who shed their final skins, here's the role they played in this 3D reality. We want to thank them for all that they gave us. Forgive them for their mistakes. But no, this is the life we choose. We are all stars, all connected. Connect the dots. We are always together. 3D and ego kept it hidden until we saw the new at the right time."
Yes, this is Lokaous, and that is correct. Your star burns out, the sadness, it burns out, but then when all of this happens, it's like a refresh.
Yes.
And it comes out and you felt that like a star.
Yeah, the words that I kept hearing that day, I kept hearing spirit words, and I heard words like burn out, shine, candles, balloons.
Yes.
So there was a celebration going on, and on my way to the friend's house where I lost my shit, I heard like American Pie from Don McLean, like this is the day that you die. And I have a friend that's on the other side that's quite humorous, and he was telling me like, today's the day you're gonna die of laughter. And I go from being terrified to being comforted.
Right. And that was his way of comforting you. That's his way.
That's his way for sure.
Because he knew we have to keep the same humor you're used to to calm you down.
Yes.
So that is why he did what he did, to keep you calm.
Right.
And to the process of reading the Prodigal Son, it is the description of a spiritual awakening pretty much. When you go through it and the story goes along with it, it is very much, and it talks about spiritual awakening.
It does.
Yes.
So let's dive into the story of the Prodigal Son. So prodigal means
wasteful.
Means wasteful.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in the story of the Prodigal Son, there is a father who has two sons. One son obeys the law of the father. He listens to the father. The other one wanted to do something different. So he asked his father for half his inheritance. He asked for his inheritance.
Yes.
And at the time, that's very disrespectful. It's like wishing your father dead.
Yes.
And his father is a rich, wealthy man.
Right.
The father gives him the money.
Right. Right.
And the son goes out and he wastes it. And he's left to work in pig slop. And he realizes he'd be better off as a slave for his father.
Right.
I am this prodigal son. I left my mom and dad's house when I was 18 because I thought I knew it all and I was going to go get the world by its balls, I guess. And the balls got me.
Yes.
I just kept choosing one wrong thing after another. I joke about living in sin because at the time I lived with my boyfriend downtown and we weren't married, so I was sinning it up pretty good. But we all kind of were.
Right. Well, it's when you come here that's just going to be a typical thing.
Right.
In that. And like living in sin and all of these things, you're already forgiven for these things.
Right.
Before even a spiritual awakening, you are forgiven.
Right.
It's always good though, and to receive it, if you really want to feel this confirmation, is to ask for this, forgive me for I have sinned, whatever anger you have felt is sin.
Right.
He will forgive you immediately, and you will feel that rush of forgiveness. But no, he knows these things way before.
Yes.
And he knows humans will live and do that, but in the human mind, it's on truth. He's not going to forgive you.
And we're so far away from him.
You are so far away because you're putting what he would think on it. You're giving him a human label, what a human parent would think.
Yes.
He's not a human. He's not a human.
He's supernatural.
He's very supernatural. Yeah. Very supernatural.
Yes. Yeah, all of this proves that.
Yes.
So, as the son is going back to his father when he discovers his life, chose wrong. He realizes he chose wrong.
Yes.
So he's planning this speech in his head, like, Father, I sinned against you. Please forgive me. How can you ever forgive me? And the father sees him.
Yes.
And just runs towards him. And like you say, not knowing why the son's there. Maybe he's there for more money.
Exactly.
We don't know. The father runs to him. This is an old, wealthy man. They don't run, and they don't run to disobedient children.
And in the society, you have to remember, once the son left, took the inheritance, the son would have been banished from this particular community. Oh. And it would have also been bad for the dad to run and grab the son as well.
Because he hugs him and kisses him.
So that would have been, he committed himself blasphemous against humans in this particular community. So, but this father loved his son so much, he did not care about any of this. He just saw his son. And that's all he
was
saw.
willing to be looked upon badly by humans to do what is right.
Right. He would look more with the love of God more than what a human does.
Right.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
It describes Jesus. That is what Jesus, that just tells you in that story what Jesus will do for anybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if you're going to, when you put the judgment on Jesus and God, what you're doing in a sense is putting a human thing.
Right, we're humanizing something that's not human.
And he is not.
Right. So in the prodigal son, as the father hugs and kisses the son, brings him in, the son is trying to ask the father for forgiveness, and he dismisses it. He's too busy calling his servants in. He's like, dress my son in a clean robe and clean sandals and give him the family ring, which signifies?
It signifies he's a family member, not a slave.
And he was going to settle to be a slave.
As Jesus would put the signet ring on you to signify you apart from the sinners.
Yes.
You are now part of my kingdom.
The day of my awakening, I felt like it was my wedding day.
What does he say? A ring.
That's why I felt, I never understood
what
why
does he
I felt
say
that.
when you're in a relationship with Jesus? It's a marriage. It's in the Bible. He says when you're in a relationship, there's a marriage, and there's a whole thing about that in Solomon.
Because I felt like I was going to die on my wedding day, but Scott and I were planning to get married in the future. It hadn't happened
and
yet.
it would have
been
the human mind would have confused. But it's in the Bible. He's discussing the ring. It's in Solomon. Yes, he's talking about the marriage. When you're in a relationship with him, it feels like a marriage. I mean, he loves his bride. He always loves his bride, the groom. Because that's how he sees us. He takes you into his family, so you're married to Jesus.
So let's go back to the father.
Let's go back to the father. Yes.
So the father is wanting to celebrate the return of his son. And the older son comes in and he's jealous because they're going to celebrate with the prize heifer. They're getting the prize heifer.
And as well as the prize heifer, mind you, in those days, it would have been a very difficult thing to do. They never did this.
Right.
So that's another thing to think about as well. This is a prized heifer.
And the father tells the older son that's jealous that my son was dead and now he's alive. He was lost and now he's found. Celebrate with me. He's inviting everybody in to celebrate with him. And then the story of the lost coin and the lost sheep. It says that's the kind of party the angels have in heaven when a sinner comes back home. That was the party I heard. That's the party. How crazy is that? I didn't understand anything about the Bible. I didn't know any of this stuff, and I heard all this stuff, and I felt all this stuff, and it's freaking real. That is mind-boggling to me. And I want you to be mind-boggled and mind-blown by all this stuff. I didn't know that until I watched our spiritual awakening video, and Lokaous was like making faces like, get it, Angie, get it, Angie.
Because we can't say not to, because we want them to learn.
Right.
And that's what, if it's also in the Bible, Jesus will never reveal until he wants you to learn it.
Yeah.
So that's also as well in the Bible. But she woke up.
Yes.
And the balloons, and you heard the balloons, because in the spec, as your life as a prodigal son, you knew it all. You were going to live your life and do it all. You went out and did your life. You're no now the pig slop. When all the darkness hit, and how do I go to my Father, and how do I do this difficult? And the day of your awakening, so others can describe. I want you to describe some of how it felt like an exorcism for those out there that could be actually going through this right now.
Yeah, so I felt like I was going through a forced exorcism. I was hearing. Let's go. I'm going to step back.
Yeah, step
back a little bit.
That's where you need to go.
So let's go. I left my parents. Now I'm in my pig slop.
Yes.
So my pig slop was, I was in an unhappy marriage. I'd struggled to have kids, so I had kids through in vitro.
Yes.
So it worked really hard to have my babies. I had kids. I've lost my job. I have Lyme disease. I cheated on my husband, but I was sending it up real good. My daughter got cancer, and I couldn't do it anymore. I had made one wrong choice after another, My husband, now Scott, was kind of like a gift within it all to help pull me out of my darkness, but I didn't do it right. And I had so much shame in me that I had a speech prepared. I think my spirit, my soul, whatever it is, knew that day what was happening, because I had so much fear. Well, fear, look what I've done. Once you realize the stuff you did was seen, all this stuff, nothing is hidden, everything is seen. Yes. And it affects us. All those consequences come back to us, and it's very difficult.
It is very difficult, and just know too, people do this. Well, God's not watching me. He watches every single thing that you do.
And we have guides that are watching everything.
And as well, you do have guides, but they cannot help unless you ask.
Right.
So as well, please talk to your guides. They will help and assist.
Right.
And the love that your divine has for all of you.
Right.
So remember that. When you're the speck and you're trying to figure out, what am I going to say to my Father? He's already forgiven you. He just saw the speck. He doesn't know why you're coming to him. He doesn't care. He's going to embrace you with everything he's got.
Yep.
Take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I never got that. And it would be a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
And she has changed so much. So, and just do that. So
we hope you enjoyed this video.
We hope you learned something.
Yes.
Yeah, we hope you learned something.
Please.
Please. Yes.
We hope you know that you are unconditionally loved. I hope that this proves to you that you are loved no matter what you've done. You are welcomed into love.
You are unconditionally 100% loved. And be loving towards others.
Yes.
Be loving others.
Jesus was living water. It should flow.
And he walked and he gave love to everybody. Yes. So,
and remember, everything is
beautiful.
beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes, beautiful.
We love you guys, and we will see you in the next video.